Hold me close till I get up. Time is barely on our side. I don't wanna waste what's left. The storms we chase are leading us, and love is all we'll ever trust. Yeah, no, I don't wanna waste what's left. And on we'll go, through the wastelands, through the highways, till my shadow turns to sun rays. And on we'll go, through the wastelands, through the highways, and on we'll finding life along the way, melodies we haven't played. No, I don't want no rest. Echoing around these
Hey guys, am I audible? Let me know if I'm audible in the chat so that I can confirm.
we'll go, through the wastelands, through the highways, till my shadow turns to sun rays. And on we'll go, through the wastelands,
Hey guys, so I hope you all of you guys are there. Let me know in the chat so I can start. So shall we begin? Yeah, all good. So I'm audible, I believe. Okay, let's start then. So this is our first time doing YouTube live. So yeah, there is some technical difficulties. Yeah, so let's see. I'm not able to understand how many people are there. I'm pretty much new to this. It says 8 people. I'm not sure if 8 people are there or it says 7 now. Okay, that's good. That's a good number of people. Okay, so let's start. And yeah, so today we are going to build the very famous classic game which used to play rock, paper, scissors. We used to play through our hands. Today, let's try to make it a digital game and make a computer play against us. Okay, let's start then. Cool. Okay. One second. All right. So you guys can see the things we are going to do today. Okay, awesome. I believe like there is 10 seconds delay. I'll just continue. Okay, today, so we are going to work on this structure of making, it's a web development. So basically we'll have three things to do. We'll be making a HTML structure to how the same idea of we have been doing for last few workshops. So we are going to make a HTML structure and then we are going to put some makeup on it and make it look really cool. And obviously at the last, we are going to put a JavaScript game logic on top of it so that we can play against a computer. Okay, so let's move on. All right, so I have already opened my Visual Studio Code. So I haven't made anything other than index.html and I have my open server switched on this side. Cool. Okay, so let's begin then. Okay, so with HTML, okay, so we are going to start with all the special things we can do with VS Code. So there is a shortcut in VS Code where you can put an exclamatory mark and you get the whole boilerplate code. And see, you can see that. And that's what we are going to do today. We're going to use all these shortcuts to solve the problems today. Cool. Okay, so we have got the document now. Let's move this out. Okay, so let's give a title for the game. Rock, paper, and scissor game. Let's say. Cool. So let's see. Yeah, so it's working. So our live server is working. Awesome. Okay. So let's start with yeah. Let's go with the design first. Okay. So let me just make paint. Cool. And let's see what we can do. Okay. So let me use my pencil. And yeah. So okay. So we want the user to select options, right? So we're going to have rock, I'm going to have paper and scissors. Okay, so we're going to have like these three options. Cool. And let's say this is we are going to put scoreboard over here. So we have like starting scoreboard. Sorry, with the dots. Yeah, 0 0. And then we have, let's say, what else do we need? We need the names of the people who are playing. So it's user, that will be us. And let's say this is the computer. So computer. Yeah, pretty cool. Okay. So what else would we need over here? Okay, so we want to know who won at what time, right? So let's say if we click on rock and the computer selects let's say scissors, so we won, right? So we need to mention somewhere sorry, so where we are the results, let's say. So let's put our results over here. Good. And obviously after playing a lot of time, you obviously want to refresh the game, so let's put a refresh button as well. Okay, so this is going to be a refresh. Sorry for my handwriting. Yeah. Okay, so these are the buttons which are round and these are all text fields. Okay, so what we could do is now think about exactly what kind of things we can use over here. We could use h1 or h3 and so on, right? So today we are not going to use any of those. We are just going to work on all the divs and paragraphs. Okay, so I'll show you how without using any of these special tags we could still make a really cool looking stuff. Okay, so yeah, so refresh has basically does is resets this page, right? Okay, so what we'll do is we'll make this into a, let's say it's a link. Okay, it's a link and it will go back to this page every single time. So if the score was 10 and 0 and then after you click on refresh, it should just clear it up. Okay, so that's our mission. So this is going to be our a link, that is basically a href. Okay, so this is the href tag which we use, right? Okay, so we're going to use that for the link. So for this, okay, let's see what you can do here. So as I said, we are not going to use button, input or h1 tags. We are going to use all div tags, all the basic tags, and we are going to modify it through CSS. Okay, so we'll be using this as 3 divs. Cool. Okay, my voice is not audible. Okay, let me increase that. Okay, is my voice audible now? Okay, I'll just increase it more, I guess. Yeah, how about now? Cool. Okay, so we can continue right now. Okay. Yeah, I'm audible, right? Let me know in the chat if you have some issues with the audio or something. Cool. Let's continue then. Okay, we don't need this. Okay, so we're going back to the design. Okay, so this is going to be a 3 divs. Okay, so it's going to be 1, 2, and 3. And what else am I going to do? So the thing is like, okay, fine, we have this user, we have this numbers. Okay, what you can do is we could tell this whole thing as a div. Okay, and then inside these we could make each of these as a div. Okay, and so on. And what we could do for this score is use span. Okay, I hope you guys remember what span is. So the reason why you're using span is because we want to use same stylings to user and computer, but we want this number to keep changing independently and not at the same time. So if the user wins, so we should get 1 over here and still be 0. So we need to use spans for to do 2 different things. There are many other ways, but I would suggest let's use this one. Good. Okay. Let me. Okay. Yeah. I see some people have issues. Is that? Okay, it's audible. Okay, cool. Yeah. So we have the design now. cool. So let's now start making this. I'll just close this. Let's say, should I save this? Let's save this. Let's save this into desktop. Design. Save it. Yeah. Let's select here design. Cool. Okay, so we now have the design ready. So I have prepared it in my mind, but if you guys want, I'll show you guys whenever we are creating it. Okay, so let's start. So the first thing we want to make is the HTML structure. Okay, so that's what we were looking over here. Okay, so you can see first we have finished our rough design of what we're going to build. So now let's move on to HTML structure. All right, so let's start. Okay, so we need the div classes, right? So let's see what we can think about for div classes. Let's start with so I'm going to use all shortcuts. So as you can see, if you just call div, it will suggest you to actually create a div. But instead of creating a div, I'll be directly making a class. Okay, so I can just write main and it will create a class over there. I hope it's visible for you guys, the text and everything. The font and everything is visible. Okay. Okay, it's okay. Cool. So yeah, I have created a main class now. Okay, so let's put all the things inside this. Okay, so this is going to be our useful for putting the background color and everything. Okay, so we are done with that. Now let's make scoreboard. Let's make scoreboard. Cool. So we have scoreboard now. Nice. Now we had a username, we had computer, and we had 00 in the between. So let's make that now. So let's make a user box. Okay, you want me to increase the font size? I'm exactly not sure how I'll increase that. Settings. I've totally forgotten how to do that. Let's see settings. This is just going to find us. Okay, wait. Any idea how do I increase it? In VS Code fonts. Okay. Where do I go? VS Code fonts, appearance, extensions, output. Okay, maybe I can just do this. Is that fine? I can just zoom in. I just zoomed in instead of increasing the font size. Yeah, I think this will do, I guess. I hope so. I just move this off. Yeah, so you can see much better now, I guess. Is it much visible? Okay, so let's continue with this. Cool. So I was making a new class for the score. Yeah, I just saw it. I thought to increase the font, but let's just zoom for now. Okay, so we are going to make a new class called user box. Cool. Okay, the reason why I'm calling this as user box is basically like we want that user to be there, right? So we are doing that. So let's make a paragraph over here because we want text over here. So let's say it's called user. We want user, so let's put user. So we got the user now. Cool. Okay, so let's copy paste this thing and paste it over here. And so this is going to be the same thing, but we are going to change this class to computer. Conf. Cool, and change this to conf. Cool. So we have computer and user, and we want the scoreboard in the middle of this. So we want 0 and 0. So let's make that now. So let's make a class called scores. Cool. Okay, so now we need a let's make paragraph. What do we need in this paragraph? Yeah, so we need 0, 0, right? Okay, so we'll not be doing it directly this time. So what we're going to do is we're going to make a span. Cool. So, so if I make a span over here like this, there might be, yeah, okay. So I just need to add a class here. So I'm making a class here so that while we are using JavaScript, we will be able to control this code and change this code. Cool. So I'm going to set this as user score. Let's set it to 0. Okay, so we got 1 0 over there, and so we need now for the computer to be there. So let's click on this and computer score. Cool. So we have 0 0. Now we need that colon. Actually, you can just put colon there, and you can see it over here. Okay, is this much visible? I think this will be much visible now. Okay, 1 second. I'm just reading your messages chats. Little bit. Okay. Yeah. Okay. Cool. So I'll be zooming it for this much, and then I'll reduce the zoom later on if when we are doing the CSS. Okay. Cool. Okay. So moving on. So we got the user score and everything. We haven't done anything CSS. If you're following around, I'll wait for a few seconds if you want, or you can just rewind this stream and you can watch it. Okay. Yeah. Pretty cool. So now we're done with all the computer, and yeah, we're done with the scoreboard. Yeah. So we have done the scoreboard. Complete scoreboard. So let's move on. Okay, so what else do we need here? Okay, so we need options: rock, paper, scissors. Okay, let's go with the options now. So I'm going to make options. Oh, sorry, dot options. Cool. Okay. Let's do one thing so that you guys can figure out it properly. Let's make comment lines over score, bold, and I like this as main build. Cool. So you guys can easily figure it out. So this is going to be options. Let's say RPS options. RPS is rock, paper, scissors. Options. Cool. So now we are well done in commenting. So you guys can figure out now. Okay, so we have made options. Now we have 3 options. Cool. So let's make our first option. Let's call it as rock. And what do I call it as? Let's call it rock options. Or option. This is one option. So let's call that and say it's rock. Cool. So we have rock. Let me zoom a little bit out. Okay, so now I just copy paste this 3 times, so you can get paper and scissor. Is the spelling correct? Scissor spelling is SCISSOR. I hope that's correct. Cool. Okay, so now we need to change these class names, make it to paper and scissors. Yeah, I'm messed up with the spellings. Cool. So we have this. So we're done with the options. We have done with the scoreboard. So what else was the next thing? What was the next thing? It was results. Yeah. So let's put the result text. We'll call it as a result board first. Okay. So it will be easy for us to customize board. So inside this, we'll call a paragraph called as results. Just results. Or maybe just result. Okay, we need to give an ID for this. Let's put an ID for this. Let's call this result text. Okay, result text. Cool. So we have this result board, we have this result text. It's a paragraph and we have an ID. Cool. So let's comment this. Let's say this this has RPS results or results. Yeah, let's say results. Cool. So yeah, pretty much it's for HTML. So we are done with HTML. All we need it. So this is our oops, wrong button. Okay, so we have our scoreboard, we have our options, and we have our results. And oh yeah, we forgot the refresh button. Let's make a refresh button. Okay, so what could we do over here? We can make another div over here stating let's say, oh wait, you don't need to call it as div. Let's call it as class. So this is called refresh. Let's call it as refresh. refresh board or something. Cool. So we have that, and now let's make that aref. So this is going to help us to go to that link. So what we're going to do over here is, instead of going anywhere, we just call it as HTML. So what this is going to do, let me write over here, refresh. So whenever I'm going to click this, it's just going to refresh this page. Okay, so basically, if this code was something else, and if I click on refresh, it just resets this code. Okay, so we have built our refresh. Oh yeah, I forgot the comment line. So let's make this as refresh button or something. Okay, remember I'm using aref over here and not a button. Okay, so it's just to test out all these different tags. So you can obviously use button over here if you like. You can obviously use paragraphs over here instead of divs. So I'm just going with a more customized way. So I'm using all the basic ones, all the same tags, so that I can modify it in the CSS. Okay, so we'll go more detail into CSS. Cool. So now let's go back and see what we have done. Awesome. So now we have completed our rough design of what we are going to do to build. So we have finished our HTML structure. So now we are in the third part, doing the CSS styling. Okay, so let's go with that. Cool. So we're back now. So let's go to style.css. So before I go to style.css, let me link the CSS. Okay, so I'm going to go over maybe before title, after title, yeah, before title. Okay, so I'm going to write link. So you can see as soon as I write link, it suggests me how to write it down. So I'm over there. Cool. Once again, you guys have something to say? Okay, nothing. Cool. Okay, so you have href, and I need to make now style.css. Okay, and I'm just going to say a version over here. It's not necessary to put version. It's just like if we have time to host it on some cloud service. So this is going to be very important. I'll explain you at that time. Cool. So I'm going to put it as 1. I'm going to save it, and now we need to create CSS. Let's create style.css. Cool. So we have our CSS now. So let's move this on. Awesome. Okay, so now we need to do our basics. So let's remove the padding. As you can see over here, there is some empty space on the corners, and by default there is some padding over there and margins. So let's remove that. Margin 0. Cool. All margin is gone. Let's see if maybe padding is also there. So let's clear that up. So now it's all jumbled up. Cool. As we wanted, I guess. Okay, so we don't need anything else right now because we haven't put any background. Okay, let's work on our background. Cool. So now let's go to our main. Okay, so we have made main. Oops, I'm making a JavaScript function. Okay, how about I do this time? I have thought of adding comments everywhere this time. So this is the default styling. Okay, I don't know if the spelling is correct. Okay, so we are going to be here. Then let's put this as, this is main div that we are making. So this is going to be the whole background we are going to set. Okay, so how we are going to put it to the whole background? So first of all, the best way to check what this is like just to put border style and write dashed and add some color, border color. Let's put red. Okay, and you can see how much the main div is covering. So main div is covering only this much. Okay, so if you put a background color over here, okay, so let's put background Cool. So if I'm adding some color, let's say black. Let's say black. Okay, let me change this text to white, so we will not have any issues. Hash FFF. So you can see the background is only coming over here. So we want the whole background to come to the whole bottom, right? So let's fix that. So let's put our, we still don't know how the width is also. Okay, looks like the width is fine. It's responsive. Okay, so but still let's, for namesake, let's just put width as well. So left we'll put 100 VW. Okay, so what VW is, I've explained before, is basically like, this is called view. Okay, this is called viewport. This whole thing, whatever you're looking at. And so viewport changes as you change your the browser or your mobile screen or anything like that. Okay, so if you put it as 100, so it's going to take the full width. Okay, so if I take it as 50 VW, so you can see how it's working. So it's only taking 50 and it is very responsive. So you can see it will always take 50 of your browser. Cool. So we have understood that. So now let's make HEIG height. So let's make this as 100 VH. Let's change the top 100 VW and semicolon. Cool. So now we have a whole background. Let's remove this styling. So we don't need the border now. So we already know how much is there. Cool. So we have this now. We have the refresh button. We have everything set up as a background. Yeah, sorry. Yeah, let's continue. And so we have that. Also, I want to do is put a position as absolute. Okay, so as I've explained in my previous workshops, is basically like absolute is basically like stop going to follow. It's not going to follow any of this margin and padding of the body or something like that. Like let's say now we have set a styling for all of these together by using the star. Okay, so it's going to ignore this. Okay, it will not ignore the color. It will just ignore the margin and paddings. Okay, and the left and rights. And so that's the reason why we want absolute, so that we can set it wherever we want and not follow these rules like in future if you're changing something. Cool. So we're going to continue with that. Oh yeah, okay, so the font is weird over here, so let's try to find some really good fonts. We can go to Google Fonts. Google Font. Okay, so we have Google Fonts here, and I'll be making this full screen so you guys can see what I'm going to do. So I'm going to search something called as Rose. It's pretty cool. Red Rose. Yeah, I want something like this. So you can see all these options over here. Apparently this one only has 3. So I'm going to pick 400 and I'm going to pick the bold and I'm going to pick the regular. Okay, cool. So we have selected those. So I'll have to go to embedded and find the import link, and I need to just copy this link. Copy. Let's fix this back to normal and close this thing, and let's go here and import it. Okay, good. So now we have imported a special font. So the reason why I'm adding this font is because this font is not there by default in the uh, in our PC, let's say, or something like that by default. So in the Windows, so we're going to put a font family and call our rose. It's called Red Rose. Red Rose. We have that, and we can also select what kind of font weight we require. This is not necessary. It will take by default the first one, but let's still do that. So okay, they have all gone because I forgot to put semicolon here. Cool. So now we can see this awesome font. It looks pretty cool. Looks awesome, like a game. So let's continue. So we're done with the font. So now let's move on with let's go with what was in HTML. Let's see. So we have our main done. So now let's make scoreboard. Cool. So what is scoreboard called as? It's called a scoreboard. Cool. So we are going to start with scoreboard. Board. Cool. So we're going to start with that. And so we want to have some distance over here. So let's do some experiment and see what we can do. So let's put margin. Let's put some margin on the top. I'm going to use all percentages this time, so that because last time we used pixels, so this will even give you a different opportunity to understand this. So we have 5%, so we can see 5% is this much. I'm going to put 15%. Let's see what happens. Okay, this is 15%. I think I'm happy with 5%. Okay, so this is not the exact. If you're following me with the code, okay, you will probably see it something like this because I'm zoomed in, so you are able to see it much bigger than compared to what I'm able to see right now. So I've zoomed in. So that's why the font size is huge. Okay, so we need to know that. Okay, so now as I had explained last time, display flux. So what fluxes does is, okay, so I'm not going to be showing you again the representation. So what flux lets us do is makes this div to be able to be in the same column or in the same row. Okay, so I can set it into certain categories like that. Okay, so imagine I wanted user 0 0 computer. I can change that to that. But for now, obviously, I want this one. So by default, display flux already gives us in the column weight. So now let's put some, let's align it. So let's put some justify content. Okay, so this is one of the ways to, like, I'm not sure if this is vertical or this is horizontal. I keep getting confused. So let's say this is an x-axis. So justify content will help us to put it in the center of x-axis. Okay, so like you can see this. I'm going to like stretch it out, and you can see it stays in the same place. Good. Okay, so now you need to notice one thing. Okay, every single time I would suggest you always to do this to figure out exactly where is the border of this. Okay, so you always use dashed, and you can use border color. Let's use red again, so you can see the border. Good. Okay, so now you can see like it does look like that, but okay, it does look like it's balanced from the top and bottom. But even though for just in case, we can still use another thing called as align content, and we can edit the center. So this is basically the same way of x-axis, but this will do for y-axis. So it will make sure the y-axis center it's in the center of y-axis. Okay, so it's very hard to visualize over here, but if you guys had attended, I'll do another workshop regarding the flex process or something. Okay, so we're done with that. So we don't need this dashed anything. So I'm just going to copy this and put it over here down. Okay, so that next time we ever require it, we'll just copy paste this. Okay, so I'm just putting a comment over here. Cool, and I'm going to remove this. Cool. So we have this in the center. So one job done. Yeah. So let's also do the font size if you like. Okay, because we already have come over here. So let's make it okay. So we want the score to be the biggest. Maybe. Let's experiment with title. Okay, this is zoomed in too much. Yeah. So you can see this is how big it will look like if it was normal size. So this is normal size. So this is the distance. Let's make it 42. Okay. 42. Little much bigger. I think 42 looks good. Yeah, let's go with 42. It's nice. So I'm going to zoom in a little bit for you guys. Good. Okay. So we have that all done. So we have done with scoreboard. Awesome. So another job done. So let's go with options now. What is it called? It's called options. Oh, awesome name. Oh wait, we forgot the eclipse for inside. So we need to do styling for this. Okay, cool. Totally forgot about it. Okay, so what was it called as? It was called as the user box. So let's go to user box. User box, and we also want the computer to have the same styling. So let's call both of them together. So you can do this. You can call both of them in the same line. And what do we want to do? So we want to put some space over here, right? So let's do that. So I'm going to do padding. Okay, so padding, and I'm going to put 0%. What is the first 0%, and I'll tell you what's the other one. Okay, so the first 0% is basically top and bottom. So it will put padding on the top and bottom. If you put here, if you put the second one, that will put padding on the right and left side. Okay, I mean left side and right side. Yeah. Okay. So I'm going to save this. So okay, you couldn't see any difference. So let me increase it, maybe 5% or something. Okay. So probably not a good idea. Let's see what happens with this. Okay. So I believe like since this is user box, let's go to HTML. It's called user box. So we have the users over here. So okay, maybe when we do the settings for this, it might, because I guess this is the scores. So let's do that. Okay, so maybe I'll do that dot scores. So we have dot scores now. Because it's called dot scores. It's called dot scores. Cool. So I'm going to put dot scores, and let's say for that padding of 10%. Let's see what happens. Okay, it messed up a lot. So let's put a 0. Okay, maybe maybe I have a problem over here. Okay, let's put margin. I'll put margin. So let's put margin of 0% on top and bottom. Let's put 2% on the side. I guess, okay. I've practiced this so many times and I'm still messing this up. Okay, so let's see what we can do later on for this. I guess I can still do something else, but I believe like I've done some settings later on which would improvise this. Okay, so let's just keep this to padding 2% for now, or maybe I'm calling it wrong. Am I calling it? Maybe I need to put comma. I don't know. It's probably because of comma. Uh, I don't think so. It's comma. Okay, let's see what's wrong. So this is called user score, and I believe I need to write dot scores over here. Probably, maybe I don't need this. Weird. So what if I put comma over here? Okay, this works somehow. Is it good? I have no idea why it worked like this. We'll figure that out later on. But so we have got a padding. So as you can see, if you start experimenting a lot of times, you actually realize what's the problem. So sometimes copy pasting also is a problem. Okay, cool. So I believe there's a problem over here. I don't think so. We need this part over here. I don't think so I can fix that. Can I? Oh, there's a space over there. Let me remove that space. Maybe I'll just push this back a little bit and save this. Oh yeah, okay. So we don't have a space anymore, and I'll put that comma back. For some reason that works. And we have awesome styling on the back. Cool. So we have done that. So we have done the scores. Do we need to do anything for the zeros? I don't think so. They look really cool. Okay, maybe what do I call them actually? I call them user scores. Okay. Maybe if I call user scores, comma maybe dot user score dot com score. Good. So I'll probably put some padding over here as well, just in case. And maybe I'll put only on maybe less than 1%. Let's see what happens. Oh, didn't even do anything. Is the name correct? It's called user score. Okay, maybe I'll put some pipes and let's test it. Okay, it's not even doing anything on this side. Let's see why it's doing that. Okay, let's come back to this. It's looking pretty cool for now. I'm pretty confused why I'm not able to do that. Okay, let's continue with the next one. So we have gone to options now. Let's go with options. So we have finished our scoreboard. So let's go to options. Options. Okay, let me read some charts. You guys are asking me to do it. Cool. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So if you guys do share to people who wants to watch this or something, so they can learn something regarding how to make a game, I'll be sharing this code in the group. Okay, so you guys can try it yourself if you are not able to follow at the same pace. And also this video is going to be on YouTube, so you can rewind it whenever you like. Awesome. Okay, let's continue. Let me read some charts. 2%. Okay, probably this doesn't work. Let's just continue with this. I feel like I need to select each of these separately and then put some margin. Okay, so maybe that will work. So maybe I was doing that for this. So I'll fix that. Let's try that later on. So now let's put margin. We are done with margin. Let's put it in the middle. Okay, we remember justify content. We're going back to that. So we got it in the middle. And so we're done with options. So now let's go to rock, paper, scissors options. So we have rock option. The session will end in probably 2 o'clock. I think we always do 1.5 hour sessions. So 1.5 hour to 2 hours. So let's we are aimed up to till 2 o'clock. So let's see. Maybe earlier than that. Let's see. Okay, so I'm just going to put the paper options. User option. I'm going to copy paste this. And let's remove this. Put what do you want to say? Scissor. So we have scissor option, drop option, paper option, none. Cool. So we are taking this. So we have this, and yeah. So now what do we need for this? Okay, so we need first of all is let's first figure out what's the border radius of this. Okay, so let's uncomment this and see. Okay, so we have this border, so now we can experiment on this. Let's put some padding 1% on all the sides. So now we can see this all the sides padding so on the side and stuff like that. And okay, I believe like in the design we actually made round boxes for this. So let's go with that. Okay, maybe the black color is not good for us. Let's change this color to something else. Something maybe dark blue or something. Oh, sorry, not color. Need to change this. Dark blue. Cool. Okay, so we can make this into black or something. So yeah, I feel like black is much cool looking. So let's make this into solid. So now we have like a solid button, and let's put some color. I like black on this. So we have black, and let's put some border width. Okay, before putting border width, let's put some margin between each of these so that they don't join with each other. So let's put 1%, 1%. Margin. Cool. So we have distance between that. Obviously, these things look little skinny, so let's make it into. So this is the exact size how it will look like. Okay. The reason why I'm making it so small is because I'm going to make this responsive for mobile phone as well. So that's why it's very small. In your PC, if you have tried it, it will look really small. Okay. So I'm just zoomed in over here. So let's put some border width. Let's try something 20 pixels. Oh, okay, maybe not 20 pixels. It's too much. Let's put 5 pixels. Okay, looks something good. Okay, so this is looking a little too much sharp on the edges. Let's put some radius, border radius. Let's put some. Let's go with 20 pixels for this. Cool. So this is looking really like a button now. More and more of a button. Okay, so we are done with that. So we have margin. Okay, definitely I believe like we need more padding. Looks so congested over there. Okay, so this looks much better. So if I'm going to 100, yeah. So this has a lot of more distance in the middle. So cool. So we are done with that. And what else do we need? Oh yeah, obviously the font. So the font family. Let's go with font family. And go with what do you use? So we use 42 over there. So let's go a little smaller maybe, because these are just options. So it didn't even look any different, but yeah, I believe like 32 is different. Let's go with 38 or something. Maybe I don't even know if it's showing any difference. And let's try 12 pixels. Oh yeah, I'm trying family font. It's supposed to be size. Cool. Yeah, okay. So let's go with 32. 32 is huge. Let's go down a bit. 22. Maybe 20. Yeah, let's go with 20. Awesome. So we are done with this. So now, okay. So let's put some animation as well right now, as we are already doing this. So let me just copy paste this. Okay, and I'll show you what's the difference going to be. So we're going to put an option called hover over here. Okay, so we're just going to copy paste that to all of these. Okay, so whenever we are hovering on any of these options, okay, we want this to perform. Okay, so let's remove all this. We don't need to keep that. So what do we do? So I want, when I'm hovering on top of this, I want a background to signify, telling me like this is a button. Okay, so like, so I can figure it out. So let me put some background color, background, here's the background, and let's put black, and then we'll see what we can do with it. Okay, so we have black. So now you can see that it's while hovering we have that options. So let's make it a little opacity less. So okay, I forgot to save it. You can see a little this thing. Maybe let's make it into a little grayish color. Maybe this will look cool. Yeah, so this looks really better. Awesome. Okay, obviously this is going really fast, so we want it to be a little transitions for this. So let's put some transition, and this for, let's say 0.5 seconds, and with ease. Okay, so I've explained exactly how this works. So now you can see like have that awesome animation. Maybe 0.5 is too slow. Let's put 0.3. So you can see that it looks pretty cool. Maybe I'll just increase this, and yeah, this looks much better. Awesome. So we have completed with the hovering thing, and okay, yeah. One more thing we can do is so this is something new I have not explained last time. Okay, so as you see, okay, so you can see this actually it is working, but whenever you're hovering on top of this alphabet, it's not working actually. Okay, so by using this, okay, oh, I forgot something. Okay, so technically right now, actually I fixed it on the top, I guess. Yeah. Okay, so yeah, actually you don't even need this. Let's forget this one. Maybe this is complicated. I'll explain you guys later on when there is a actual use for it. Cursor pointer. Okay, so why I'm using cursor pointer is so now you can see that index finger or cursor. So it feels like a button right now. So we have that now. Awesome. So we can feel that. Cool. So let's move on now. Okay, so we are done with another styling. Awesome. RPS is done. Now let's go to results. We are moving on fast now. So let's go to results, and this is going to be very simple because all you need to do is change this text, right? So let's call result. Yeah, so we call the parent element and change that so that this one also changes. Okay, so we'll just call result. That's not what it's called. Board. It was called result board. See again. It's called result board. Awesome. So then result board. So we are going to do the same thing again. Display flux. Okay, so this is display flux is so awesome because it will help us to center everything very easily. So I can just put justify content center and then align content center, and it will help me put it in the center. Cool. So now let's put some margin from top to bottom. Okay, so we'll put 2% and 0%. Okay, this basically means margin from top to bottom. So you can basically check this out. If I change it to 5%, so you can see there was a change over there. If I put 15%, you can see exactly how much. Awesome. So yeah, so let's put 5% for now. Okay, so our actual size is like this. Yeah. Okay. So obviously we need to put some margin over here as well. So let's put that. So for margin, let's put 5%. Cool. So this looks really proper oriented. Okay. But I'm not getting any words. Okay. So let's put some font size over here for this. We want this to be maybe smaller than. I don't know if results has to be looking smaller. But let's make it into same size as 20 pixels. Awesome. So we have that. Cool. So now we're done with the styling with this thing. So now let's just make our refresh button. We're almost there. Okay. So let's put refresh. I don't know what I call it. I called it as refresh board. Cool. So I call it as refresh board. I think we call it as dot refresh board. Awesome. So we have this now. Since this is, as you can see, this is like a link, so it has an underline thing. So that's very easy to remove. Then I think decoration spelling. Yeah. So I can just say null. Okay, and it'll. Oh, something's wrong. And did I name it wrong? Refresh board. Okay. Let me see what am I doing wrong. Okay. How about I put some ID over here? Let's try that. ID is equals to just refresh. It's called refresh, and I'll change this to it's called refresh. Text decoration. I'm not sure if I'm calling it right. Refresh. Oh yeah, okay. Spellings and stuff like that. Okay, obviously we are understood right now is like the class might be not helpful for text decoration. We have to call the aref for decoration. Okay, so that's the reason why this hash is basically like for IDs. Okay, so we are calling class over here. So here we are calling IDs. So let's just remove this. We'll get confused over here. So let's just do that. Okay, so we have refresh. So this is what we are changing now. CSS. So we have removed that decoration. Cool. So now let's put some border style. Cool. And solid. Awesome. Button. And let's actually we can put it in center through flex as well again, I guess. So what do we do over here? What if I call this display flux maybe? So that we can get it into center. Okay, it came huge. Maybe we should not put. Let's do this. We want to. Okay, yeah, we definitely need this back. Okay, so we can use this over here. Dot refresh. I can't spell refresh for some reason. Let me copy this refresh class. So the reason why I'm calling this is to just call display flux. Okay, so I'll be able to center it easily. Okay, so I have that, and I'm going to say justify content, center, all the usual things, and line content center. Cool. So we got that. Awesome. So now we can test out how we want this. So let's put some padding, 1%. Cool. So we have that awesome same size as this. I think it's the same size. Yeah, it has 2%. Let's put 2%. Cool. So it looks similar. So let's put some radius. Okay, let's just copy paste. How about that? So let us copy paste. How about we just copy all of these? And cool. So now we have a replica of that. Maybe the font size is a little smaller, but I guess we need that. Okay, so obviously I'm going to do animation on this. So let's do that transition thing. And this one has 0.3 seconds. Let's see who is doing that. So we haven't done any animation, so we can't see anything. So let's do that animation. So just call this. Scroll down, refresh, over. Okay, so we don't need these things to happen. So what we want to do is let's change border, color. Yeah, let's change it to. Okay, I've saved some colors. Okay, so I'm just going to use that to speed up the things. So I'm going to use some yellow color over there, and let's call it background. Background. Yeah, background. So I'm going to again select the specific colors I selected last time for myself for the demo purposes, and let's go with color inside is black. So cool. So now whenever I hover it, so you get something like this. Okay, so yeah, it looks very wide. Okay, so the animation looks really fast. Let's change it a little slower. I guess this is much more better. There is more options. Let's try this. Maybe this will make it. Yeah, this is much better. Okay, cool. So as you see now, we have done with all our stylings, done with CSS. Awesome. So let's see what we have left with our table. Awesome. So now we have only one left is JS, making JavaScript game logic. Okay. So let's move on to the JS game logic. So we have built all the three things. Let's get back to coding. Awesome. So now we have index and HTML over here. So now let's make script.js. Okay. So I'm not sure if this is the first time I'm doing in any workshops where I'm writing script separately. I usually was writing it in HTML. So yeah, so this is going to be the first time you guys would be looking at it, if so. Okay, so what you do is to add the script in the HTML. So you're just going to write script. If I can spell script, yeah, script. So you got the script. Awesome. So we'll write our source, okay, and we'll say it as script.js. Cool. So now we have the script connected to the HTML. Awesome. So now we don't need this anymore. So let's get back to here. So let's start with JavaScript now. Awesome. Okay. So now let's see the logic. Okay. So as soon as someone clicks on rock, okay, so we'll take in the rock input, and now we wait for the computer to enter his input. So let's say it takes scissors, so we'll take that as input, and it will check if rock beats the scissors or not. So we'll put some checking over that, and if whoever is the winner, we'll increment their score. Cool. So let's start with the scores. Okay, so let's so in JavaScript you start with let to mention any variables, but there is no reason where you can just use directly with this. Okay, this still works, but I would still prefer using let. Okay, the reason why we use let is because once you signify something like this, okay, so next time when you're using the same variable, you can get to know like you're overlapping or something. Okay, so that's one of the reasons. So let's go to computer comp score is equals to 0. Awesome. So now we have both the scores, so we'll collect the scores. So now let's get the details of this text file and all these buttons and everything. Okay, so what do? So first we call constant user score variable. I'm going to make this, and I'm going to use the inbuilt DOM variables is what they call for JavaScript. So these are DOM variables. Okay, so they are you can use document dot by element by ID, or you can get by classes to get the element, and so this way we can change the variables. Okay, so we can manipulate the variables. Yeah, that's a better one. So we have select over here. I'm going to put here, and what I need to enter over here is, okay, I need to enter the user score. Okay, so because this is the class that is changing the value for this, so I'm going to copy this and I'm going to put here. Okay, so awesome. Now I'm going to get the score of whatever is written over here. Okay, so we got user scores, and JavaScript is not mandatory to put semicolon, but it is a good practice that you put semicolon, but it doesn't matter nowadays. Without semicolon still works. Cool. So now I'm just going to copy paste this for comp score. Cool. So we want comp score, and let's just change this to comp. Let's see, let's double check if it's comp. Yeah, it is comp. Awesome. So we have these two things now. So what else do we need? Okay, so we need these three options. Okay, so let's comment this out over here, telling like this is what do you say here? Text scores or something, and maybe retrieving scores. Okay, so yeah, that's a good one. So this one would be retrieving, if I can spell options. I'm not even sure if the spelling of retrieving is correct. Okay, so basically we need to do the same thing. So we're going to write that const. Now we need to change this to what is the options. So we have rock option, rock option. Okay, so the variable types and everything is very much similar to any programming language you have done. Okay, so JavaScript and Python or any of the, I think in Python you can use const. I don't remember exactly, but if you see C and everything, basically it's almost similar. Okay, so you don't need to worry about that. Okay, so let's see, where is my stream? Let me see the chart. Okay, okay, got it. Awesome. So let's continue. Okay, so we have got rock option, so we need to just change this to rock option, I believe. So let's see what is the option here. Yeah, it's called rock option. Let's change this to rock option. Awesome. So see, okay, I'm too many semicolons. Okay, so there's no space over here, I guess. Let me pull this a little bit. Pull this over here so we can see this. So I'm going to copy this, paste it 2 more times. Oops. 1, 2, and just change this to paper, and what do you call this as? Scissor. Awesome. And I need to change this to paper. This to scissor. Cool. Oh, dang it went down. Okay, so that's fine, I guess. You guys can understand. So we have that. So we are done with that. So now let's what else do we need to retrieve? I'm just going to retrieve first. So I don't see retrieving result. Yeah, result text. Result text. Okay, let's call this as course text. Awesome. Options. Yeah, little options. So now we need to retrieve this. So we are going to manipulate this. So we need to get that information. So let's just copy paste all of this and paste it over here. So let's go back to results. So it was called as, oh remember this is ID. Okay, so if it's ID, so we need to change this. This is not going to be query. This is going to be get element by ID. Awesome. So now let's get out what's the result text. I believe it is called. Okay, so let's go here and result text. Okay, so you can see this is called get element by ID. Okay, so there's definitely some difference. Oops, I'm just doing something. Okay, awesome. So we have all the things retrieved what we require. Now let's start working on a game. Okay, so as any programming language, we want to focus on uh, making a function called as main. Okay, it's not mandatory. It is just easy for us to refer. So I'm going to call a game called a function called main. Okay, so I'm going to call it main. Okay, so what we want to do over here. So we want to get a reaction when we click on these things, right? We click on rock, we click on paper, we click on scissor. Awesome. So let's do that. So now we have something called a drop option. So we'll add something called add event listener. Okay. So whenever someone clicks this, okay, I want to send out a message or something. Okay, let's say the console.log. Console.log is basically like how you use printf and print in Python and so on in other languages. Okay, so I'm going to mention over here rock was pressed. Click. Awesome. Okay, so now let me call the main function. Okay. So now we have this ready. So if I open developer tools on this, okay, so let me just decrease this. Okay, so we have our developer tools. Okay, let me zoom this out. Awesome. Okay, so now if you go to console over here, okay, so whenever you're going to click rock, it is not working. Let's just see what will happen if I do console download. Fine. The scissor option is not set up. Okay, so there is no such thing as scissor option. It's already been declared. Oh, we forgot to change this. I'm so bad. Okay, so what do we name this? Result text. Okay, so yeah, there's small bugs and errors over here. So let's see what's the other one. Add event listener. So line number 17, I have a problem. So I'm doing this. I'm going to add event listener and check for a click. Okay, so I think I'm getting what's the problem might be here. Let's create a function here maybe. Is something missing? Okay, what is missing? Let's see. Let's just write this over again. I think I'm missing some. Rock underscore options dot add event listener. We have brackets. Let's put function click, and then we have a click. We need to do a function. Let's do some function over here. And so yeah, I don't know what was the problem last time. Okay, so now we have still problem. Cannot read the property event listener. Okay, rock option. Where is rock option? What is the problem? So let's see. So this is where script.js was it called rock options? It was called rock option. There is the rock option. So we have that, and it says apparently I cannot read this. let's just try something. Console log. What do I enter over here? Hi or something. Let's just try this. Okay. I don't know what's the problem. But I cannot read the property add event listener. Let's just Google this. Add event listener. Cannot read. So let's see what was the problem. So we can just use Stack Overflow to help us out. The easiest approach would be to give it. Okay. So what was the problem with this person? Let's see. So he used determine my ID and this now. Okay, let's leave this out. I have a few function, one of these, but causes an error on page with ID doesn't value error, and none of the other functions work. Okay. Okay, so probably because other functions are not working. In our case, let's see. So we have this. We have all the things perfectly constant. There might be some error over here. Maybe let's comment all of these. Let's see what's going on. So that is that. What if I so this is working. So we have a problem with main function right now. So we are able to see hi over here. Can you see that? So we have fixed one problem. So now let's just see how we can fix this problem. Okay. So we have event listener, and we require a click to occur to do this function. So apparently rock option is not existing, it says. So what is this called again? Rock option. So let's just check it out again. What is it called? Rock options. Okay. Oh my god. Okay, I understood what's the problem. So apparently these are classes, right? So I need to put dot over here for all the classes. Yeah, I am really sorry about that. Totally forgot how to use JavaScript for a second there. Yeah, so these are classes. So we need to put dot to call them. Okay, so now it's going to run properly. So we're going to click hi, and you can see like, so whenever I'm clicking, I'm just changing this to rock. So now I'm going to click rock, and you can see it's just giving us rock. And let's just create this for all the other options now. What else we have? It's called paper. Space again, and then you put scissors. Cool. So we have all these options, and let's just change this to P, and let's put this to S. Let's put this to R, so it will be easy to figure out. So I'm going to click rock, paper, scissor. You can see that. So you can see now we're getting all the inputs by clicking. Awesome. So now this is working for us. So we have retrieved the data. We are able to make a function to call this. Now when you click on rock, now we need to make the computer generate something, right? So we want the computer to play his move. Okay. So before we do that, so we will make a function called as game, which is the main thing which we are going to play, and we're going to tell that put here user option. Okay. So in this case, so user option, whatever we enter over here should be displayed. Okay. So let's put here console.log user option. Okay. So now what we could do is, instead of putting console log over here, you could say game. This would be what we can call this as rock. So I think I'm going to use some shortcuts over here. So let's say R. Okay, because we want it to be as simple as possible. So let's sort it out. So this is called paper, right? So let's use P and use S for scissors. Awesome. So now we're going to do the same thing, but with small alphabets, but we're using a function now. Okay. So now let's get back to this game function. Okay. And now we need to make sure the computer is generating an option. Okay. So now we'll make something called as comp option. Okay. And tell it a new function called computer. Okay. So let's create this new function called as computer. Function computer. the reason why we make so many functions is because it will be very easy for you to change things. Now, if you wanted to make it as multiplayer, all you need to do was to change this function and you can start using it as multiplayer. So that's the reason why functions are really cool and easy to understand as well. Okay. So now what I'm going to tell is I'm going to make an array, okay, where I have three options, that is rock, paper, scissors, same way as we have, okay, for the PC, okay, and scissors. Oh, sorry, that's awesome. So this is the options which we are going to give for PC, and tell them that randomly pick anything, okay. So we are going to say something called a random value, okay, and he needs to pick anything. So now how we have a function in JavaScript to create randomness. So what I'm going to do is, first thing is you're going to make it to what Matflow does is, if you have something like 0.7, okay, it'll round it to 0, okay. So if you have even if you have 1.7, it'll round it to 1, okay, it'll round it down, okay. That's what Matflow does, okay. Any value which is decimal point 1.999 as well, it'll round it down to 1, okay. So that's how this works, okay. So it'll round it down, it's not like round up, okay. So we wanted that, and you'll understand exactly why. So random, okay, so we have random function, and we're going to tell him we have three options, okay. So we are going to set, wait, let's just maybe this one, and we need this one, give it over here. Cool. Okay, so let's save this. Okay, so now we have this random value which is generated. Okay, so what I'll tell is whenever, so he'll pick 0, 1, 2 or something. Okay, so he'll pick 0, 1 or 2. So he can pick these three options randomly, and when he picks these values, okay, he'll put it into this RPS array. Okay, so let's say RPS array. Okay, so now we'll put random value here. Okay, so, sorry, not a floor bracket, random value. Okay, so what will happen is, so this is going to give him either 0 or 1 or 2. Okay, so whenever he gets 0, so he'll say the array is 0, and he'll think, yeah, so in 0 position there is R, so he'll pick rock. So if he gets 1, he'll pick P, and when he gets 2, he takes scissor. Okay, so that's how our computer AI has been built now. So now let's test it out. Let's see what this computer does. Okay, so I have in JavaScript we have something like this. So user, so you can see user option over here. This is called as I'm not exactly sure exactly what's the wording for this. So this is how you integrate the text and the variables in the same line in JavaScript. It's a dollar and flower sign in this. So we're going to call 0 option over here, and I'm going to say and put some space and write conc, and I'm going to tell, so this is just for testing purposes, we are not going to use these options. Okay, so I'm going to save this. Okay, so now you see, so whenever I'm going to click my option, so you can see, okay, I picked rock, the computer also picked rock. So let's try again. So you can see how the computer is picking scissors now, and we have picked rock. So if I'm picking paper, it's picking rock. So you can see it's picking anything on its own. So you can see the computer is picking its own options. S is scissor, R is rock, P is paper in this case. Okay, so you can see as I'm playing through, he is able to select random ones. Okay, so now we have made our computer AI. Now we need to make a game logic telling, like, when we have paper and they have scissors, computer is winning, right? So we have to make that logic right now. Okay, awesome. So let's remove this. Let's comment this out so that we can test it out later on. So we don't need that. So now, one awesome thing we can do is, okay, so this is a very tactical thing. It's not a logic or something. So I'm going to do something that's called, I'm going to add both of these options. Okay, so I'm going to add user option and computer option. Okay, and so this is what it will do when I do that. Okay, I'm going to console log options. Okay, so now whenever I click something, the first alphabet that you see is my option, and the second alphabet is the computer's option. Okay, so I'm going to click here. Okay, this thing is annoying when you can see. Can you see this, guys? I hope you guys can see this. Where it says RS or something. Can you see that? Let me. Yeah. So like when I'm clicking paper, So you can see the first one is my option and the second option is the computer option. Okay, so how is this going to help us? So like these, okay, we can make, since there are three different options, rock, paper, scissors. If you do what do you call it? A problem, not a probability. Yeah, maybe a probability. I'm not getting exact word. Okay, so if you do that, you'll basically get 9 different options. Okay, like 9 different possibilities is what I'm trying to say. Okay, so you'll get, so these are the options you'll get. You'll get rock, rock, you get paper, paper, scissor, scissor, rock, paper, rock, scissor, paper, scissor, paper, rock. You'll get scissor, rock, scissor, paper. So you can get 9 different combos, right? In this situation. Okay. So in this case, if you notice, these options are draw, right? So we can easily say if we get something like this, we can tell it's a draw. And if you get rock and paper, obviously the paper won, so paper is winning here. So we'll do that. Okay, so you got to get the idea right now how it's working. Okay, so let's make switch case. Okay, so switch case is going to help us out a lot in this options. Let's go with that and let's create this. So now what you're going to do is, okay, so we're going to make 3 different scenarios, but with each scenario there will be 3 cases. Okay, so now first case I'm going to do is, if there is rock, rock, okay, and if there is let's say paper, paper, okay, and we have scissor, scissor, okay, we have to make sure we have colons over here, okay, at some point. Okay, whenever these 3 things happen, okay, do this. Okay, so we'll call a function called draw maybe. Okay, so it's draw. So whenever something like this happens, make sure it is draw. Okay, so that's what we're trying to do. So now let's create the same case for winning. Okay, so when will the user win? Okay, so when user will win when there is rock and scissors, when there is paper and rock, and then there is scissors and paper. So these are the 3 scenarios where we'll win, right? So we'll call this as user win. Okay, so awesome as that. So you're done with that. So now let's just copy paste again, and we have this now. Okay, so now when are we going to lose? We have to write. So rock and paper is going to make us lose, and paper and scissors will make us lose scissors and rock. Awesome, right? So we are done with this point over here. Let me bring back. Yeah, I'm reading the charts for yeah, cool. Okay, so here the computer is going to win. So you're going to computer win. Cool. So if you guys are following still now, if you have any questions or something, let me know in the chat. Something that so that I can figure out. I'm just checking out the situation. Okay. Yeah. So if you have any questions, let me know in the middle or something, and in the chat you can let I can figure out if there's any issues. Okay. So we have reached till this point. So we need to make now user victory. We need to make draw and computer function. 3 more functions. Cool. So let's do that now. And so we have created the computer function. So let's make the user win function. Okay, so we'll make a user win function. Okay, awesome. I see your chat. So we have user win function. Now we need to do 2 things here. Okay, before I do that, let's continue this. So whenever there's a user function, okay, so I want, whenever I win, I want my value to increase. So I'll let me just remove this. Oh, something went wrong here. Okay, fixed. Awesome. So whenever I'm winning, as a user is winning, I want to increase my score, right? So I want to make it to 1. So let's fix that. So I made a variable called user score, remember on the top. So this is user score. So I'm going to use that to call it as .innerHTML. Okay, so that's basically what this location's value is. Okay, so I'm going to modify that value. Okay, and I'm going to tell. So we have something called as user score, which was 0 before. You can see here. So I'm going to call that, and I'll tell it to add 1 to it. Okay, so this is like increment. Okay, or you could just write 1 plus plus. This would also work, but I'll have to use 1 over here like that. So this is basically going to increment by 1 every time he wins. Okay, so every time the user wins, we want this person to get 1 point. Awesome. So let's just make this again for for the computer to win. So when the computer is winning, okay, so we want here computer to change, and we want this to be the count score. Okay, so we have done that, and obviously we need to do for draw, and I believe there's nothing for draw, so we'll just make draw, but we'll not be doing anything for that. So we'll just put draw, and let's just remove this. Okay, so we don't have anything for draw, so we'll be adding the messages later on. So let's test this out. Okay, so I believe I won in this. Okay, we can't see the results, so it's very hard to tell, but obviously if this value increases, I'm winning, and if this value increases, computer is winning. Okay, so that was a draw. When no values are changing, that's basically a draw. So you can see now, yeah, so the computer is winning, and you can see now the game is working. Okay, but it's not so fun because we are not able to see exactly what's going on. So let's change the result text to change this. Okay, so let's put let's call our result text dot inner HTML the same way that as we did earlier. Okay, and we want this to say, let's test it out first in draw. So this will be very easy for us. Just put draw message. Okay, awesome. So now whenever there is what am I missing? Save. Oh yeah, so I should have. Okay, I'm just going to comment this out now. So the game is going on. So whenever there's a draw, I believe I'm not getting any draws. Wow, I'm not getting any draws. Okay, so there's something wrong here. Result.text, let's see what's wrong here. Okay, so result.text is not a class. Okay, so that's the reason why we need to fix that. Okay, so now, so whenever we got a draw, you can see that. Okay, so the mistake I did was I have used this get element by ID for results, so I need to make sure that I don't have that dot on the back. Okay, so we are doing that. Yep, so let me go back. Yeah, so we are doing that, and I'll be removing this. We don't need this anymore. Cool. Okay, so we're getting the draw. So now let's put the message for winning. Okay, so let's change this and write over here. Let's say, so the user is winning over here, right? So user is winner, and let's say over here as computer is winner. Okay, so now it will be much simpler for us. So whenever there is, so you can see easily who's winning. Okay, but now the problem is we aren't exactly understanding the strategy of what the computer is using. So we want to know exactly if it's using scissors or is it using rock. So when I'm clicking on rock, okay, this is very obvious. So it's rock. So okay, I'm getting a lot of draws here. So now I use rock. Since the game is very small, it's very obvious to understand if I'm using rock, he must have used paper to beat me. But we want it more in detail. So let's make that thing to happen. So what we'll do is we make two variables called as user option and computer option. Okay, so I'm not writing whole name because it's very big, so I'll just write as user option. So this is O means user option and computer options. Okay, so what we'll do with this options, I'll just show you. So first let's change this. Okay, and I'll be using my backtext, and I'll tell like user option. Okay, when it's taken. So let's say if my user option was scissors, so if I use scissors and he used paper, so the computer option is paper in this case, let's say. Okay, so it will say you win. Okay, because obviously you're playing against the PC, so if it says you win, is basically you itself. Okay, so we have got that done, and if I save this, okay, so now it says undefined and undefined because we haven't entered what this values are. Okay, so we have made this. So let's just do the same for computer, and then I'll explain you exactly how to add the other way around. So here we have to use the other way around, computer option and then user option, because the computer option is beating us and we need to tell you lose over here. Okay, so let's do this. Awesome, so we got this two done now. So alright, so we need to obviously put these options. Let's put these options over here, computer options over here, paste it over here, let's put it over here. So now we need the options over here, so we can directly put these user option and computer option. Okay, so this is the basically options that we require. Okay, let's paste it over here, paste it over here. Done. So now, so you can see here it says now uh, rock beats scissor, but it says in alphabets because we have been using R and S for our reference. But when the person is playing the game, we don't want him to exactly use his brain to understand what P means. So let's fix that one. So what we could do is we could make another function, okay, which will make everything capitalized. Okay, so we'll call it as capitalize words or something. Okay, so we're going to call this like this, and yeah, so you're going to do this. So whenever this thing is passing through this, okay, so we are going to call it over here, telling like UO. We'll update on that, and let capitalization words UO. Okay, so what this is going to do is it is taking this new variable. Okay, so this is I'm going to call this as capital UO. Okay, or I just for simple I'll just call it as CUO. Okay, so this is basically capital option. Okay, and then for computer it will be capital option is equals to, okay, so we have this. So I'm going to copy this, and I will be using it over here as well, everywhere. Okay, so I'm going to put it over here as well. Okay, so now what this does is, so we all I need to do is like replace this now. And this one is this, and this is this. Okay, so now we have not made the function, so let's make the function. So what we'll do is, so we need one input, and that will be a letter or something. So we are entering a letter, right? So now we want to check if the letter is something or something. So let's put a switch case. I like switch cases. So let's put letter. Okay, so whenever the letter is R, okay, return alphabet as rock. Awesome, right? Or I can just make it into caps. Maybe that will look cool. So I just need to do this for all of these: rock, paper, scissor. And change these to paper, and this to scissor. Cool. So now let's test this out. Okay. So when I play rock, so you can see now rock beats scissors. So you can see exactly who's winning. Awesome, right? So that's looking really cool. And yeah, so one thing also you can do is like yeah, maybe we should probably change these colors or something. Maybe something like that. Maybe that's too much. Okay, let's not try that. This is obviously understandable who's using what. Okay, so let's do that. But we still need a good representation of exactly what's happening. This is also too blunt. So let's add something extra. Okay, before we do that, okay, let's make the refresh button. Okay, actually, I guess the refresh button is already made. Yeah, so you can see how the refresh button is already working. So after the game is over, you can refresh. Okay, so awesome. So the game is built. So we already made our first JavaScript game, probably R first. So yeah, so let's do that. So now let's do one last thing. Okay, let's change the colors of this background. Okay, and it will look and make it look like if when I'm clicking on this, so it changes the color with respect to what I have done. So let's say if I won, so let me change it to green color or something, and then this to red color if I lost. If it was drawn, make it to yellow color or something. Okay, so let's do that last thing, and we can settle it down. Okay, so we have done all of these. Okay, so let's go back to CSS, and we need to create three things. Okay, so we are going to call it as dot green border or something. Okay, so I'll explain you exactly why I'm making it. So I'm going to make something a border color. Okay, new border color, and I'm going to use as green. I want to use green, but I don't know what's the color of green. Let's see. Let's test it out. Let's go here. Find green. This green looks good, I guess. Let's take that green. Oh, it took me RGB colors. I hate this. Okay, wait. I want hexadecimal colors. What's that? I can't do 3. Okay, sorry. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So, yeah. So let me find green now. I'll have some awesome green, lime green. Let's go with yeah, let's go with this lime green. Awesome. It looks cool. So we got lime green, and we are going to do animation on this. So I'm going to just copy paste all my transitions to 0.3 seconds. Okay, and make it easy. Okay, and I'll explain exactly why I'm doing this. So since I told you, like, winner needs to have green, loser needs to get red, and yellow for draw. So let's create two more, and call this as red one, and let's call this as yellow. Cool. Let's speed this up and just call this as red. Okay, I guess that color is nice. And yellow, maybe. Awesome. So we have three colors. Obviously, it's not visible right now. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to go to my JavaScript. Okay, so every single time, okay, a person wins. Okay, so now let's say user is winning. Okay, so when we are winning, okay, I want the, what do you call it? Yeah, I want this option color to change to green color. Okay, so I want this corner to be like, so when I click on this, so I want, this is called as, what do we call that as? So this is called as the rock option. So this one. So we need to get this option and add one class telling like, we need to add this green border class. So whenever the person wins, it should change into green color. Okay, so I hope you guys got the idea. So let's do that. So now we have rock option, paper option, and scissor option. So we'll add one by one for them. So instead of adding one by one, let's do this. So we'll find the user win, right? So we get the user option over here. Okay, so we are going to come over here, make a function. Okay, let's say call as color border. Okay, and I'll just keep an option called as user option. Okay, and I'll tell like, since I'm going to win this, so I'm going to say this is as green border. Okay, as the same name as my CSS class. Okay, I'm going to call this. Okay, so let's make this function, and let me go here, function color border. Okay, and I want two things over here. What are the two things I would require? I would require option. I would require the class name. Okay, here the class name is basically the CSS class name. Okay, so we're going to create over here, so class name, and now we're going to check for switch case. Okay, so we need to just check what our options are. Okay, so what is UO over here? So UO, whenever a UO is over here, so UO is basically those alphabets R, P, S, and everything. Okay, so we need to just check that. So we'll check over here options and put over here and do case and see if it's R. If it's rock, okay, do this. And then what if it's paper? And so let me write this out completely. So this is a rock option, right? So rock option, we're going to call that, and there's a selector for this called as class list. Okay, so one thing I need to tell you is, like, I guess you guys, I don't know if you guys understood what object is. So this is in object programming. Okay, you're able to call by dot commands. Okay, so apparently the whole JavaScript is built in object based program, so that's why every single place we are able to use dot. Okay, so unlike in Java or C program, you can only use dots only when you're creating your own class and objects. But here you can use class and objects for almost everything. If this is a little confusing, the people who already are into object programming and class programming in deep would realize the difference. Okay, so anyways, let's move on. So what I'm trying to tell is the class list is the class list over here. So like rock option is there, right? So here one class is rock option. So basically, when I'm clicking on that, I want them to add green border like that. Okay, so but I'm not adding it manually, I'm adding it through this. Okay, so whenever that happens, I want them to add. So I'm going to call add, and then I'm going to call class option, class name, I guess. Yeah, so class name. Cool. Okay, so I'm going to semicolon, and let me change this to a little bit here. Cool. Okay, so for rock option, so whenever rock option is clicked, okay, check my class list and add this class list. And in this case, the class name is a function. So whenever I win, it will be green. If I lose, it will be red. If it was draw, it will be yellow. Okay, so that's what this says. I'll write it down for you. 2 p.m. Okay, 45 minutes more. We are almost in the ending, so that's pretty cool. So scissors, and now we'll just change this to paper. option, and then we'll change this to scissor option. Good. So now we have all these three. So whenever, now we just need to make sure we put in the functions. Okay, so we have called color border over here. Okay, so we'll call the same thing whenever we are in draw and whenever we are in losing state. Okay, so now all I need to do is I need to change this to red. For no, this is draw, right? So I need to change this to yellow, and I'll change this to red. Okay, so we are done with this. Now you can see as I click on that, you can see like how they all got added, the green color and everything, right? So we need to make sure that it's only added for rock or something like that. Okay, so what mistake I've done over here is when I'm doing this case, whenever R is there, there is no break over here. So I need to make sure there's a break. Okay, so if there is no break, it will take all the cases, it will do all these commands. So if there was no break, it will do this, it will do this, it will do this. Okay, so we need to make sure that is there. So now if I click on paper, so the paper is green, as you can see, and rock, and apparently, okay, so we got draw. And so you can see it's working. So whenever I'm getting draw, it's yellow, and whenever I'm getting, oh, apparently I'm not able to change this. Okay, so now you can see why the color is not changing, and now I can't even change it anymore. Okay, so now after yellow, I can't put green or red. That's because we are adding the class, we are not removing the class. So one last thing which we'll be doing is removing the class. So we need to, so now we can remove the border, but what will happen is if I call this function, it will immediately add it and immediately remove it. So we need to put some delay. Okay, so I'm going to put some delay called as set timeout. This is all JavaScript based commands. Okay, so this helps us to put delay. So what this is doing is whenever I'll put 700 milliseconds. Okay, so whenever I call this, after 700 seconds of delay, do this command. Okay, do this function or whatever I'm going to call it inside this function. Okay, so this is the 700 seconds. It's not 700 seconds, my bad. This is 700 milliseconds. So this is like 0.7 seconds. Okay, so in JavaScript, usually everything is taken into milliseconds. So that's the reason why I use double zero thousands and not 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, so we had done over here. So now we'll make a function called as same function, but this job is to remove it. Okay, so let's put remove color border and put it as UO, comma. So this is winning, right? So we are going to remove the green border. Cool. So now we have this function. Let's create this function. Okay, so we had this function. We just copy paste this color function, paste over here. Just change this to remove color. Okay, was it called remove color? Yeah, so the same function. Okay, awesome. So everything else is the same option. So we're going to do that, and all you need to do is click on. I think it's called delete, or it's probably called remove. I guess. Okay, let's try remove. Yeah, it's called remove. Okay, so we just put remove instead of add. Awesome. So now everything. Okay, let's add this to all the winning options. So for draw, for losing. Okay, so we can change this to yellow. Okay, because we need to remove the yellow over here, and we need to remove the red over here. Awesome. So now we have this awesome function. Let's try it out. So I'm going to click rock. It was a draw. Can you see for a few seconds it was yellow in color? So I'm just going to make full screen for this, and you can test it out. Refresh. Awesome. So now you can click. So you can see that red color was there, and you can see green. You can see that. Obviously, the animation is a little weird. It's happening so fast. So let's fix that. So let's go to styles, and so let's do this as. Okay, right. I'm sorry. Style is over here. Okay, so style, and let's put this ease in and out. Okay, so let's try. I'm not sure why we could not do that. So this might look much faster or something. Let's try it out. So you can see every time I'm losing it, it's red in color and it's going out. And whenever I'm draw, so it's like it's showing draw, and then when it's green, it's saying I won and I'm getting the score. Pretty awesome, right? So we have this refresh and stuff like that, and see we can play really fast. And it's kind of confusing. Oh my god, the computer is beating me so much. Wow. Okay. Yeah, the AI is winning. The AI is going to control us, I believe. Okay. Awesome. So we have almost completed everything now. So everything is done. It's really looking cool. And we have refresh button and everything. So let's just put little small changes I like to do is change the background. Okay. So I like to put this change this background so that you guys can test it out later on. So I have selected some of the colors already. Okay. And I really like this one. So this is a slightly blue and blackish kind of a background in the back. So you can change the colors anything. So I'm letting you to experiment on this. Okay, so you can change from wherever you want. So if I put it at bottom, okay, so you get the reflection from the bottom. Maybe this looks cool, so I'm going to keep this. So experiment on this. So we have made an awesome rock paper scissors game. Okay, I believe we have time issues. Otherwise, I would have shown you how to host it on GitHub using Flask, or not on GitHub, sorry, on a hosting platform called Glitch. But for now, I guess it's still probably next time we could continue this. And yeah, so I hope you guys had a great time. I'll be sharing you this code after the session. And if you guys have any questions or feedback, could you please let me know in the chat so I can understand how was the session. And let me know if you guys would recommend others as well. So we could make some other cool looking things. Maybe we could put some image of a rock here. I was actually in a hurry, otherwise I would have probably got rock, paper and scissor images, but I was not able to crop them in time, so I just went with the text. So yeah, so I will be showing you how to host this maybe in next small seminar of 10 minutes. I'll take this 10 minutes and show you how to do this. And so this will work directly in your PC as soon as you open. You just need to open it as live server and voila, it will be like you made your own first rock paper scissors game. Awesome, right? And so let me know the feedback, something in the chat or something, because we are going to end the session now. We have 7 minutes more. If you guys want to ask something, any queries, or you want any information exactly, let me know in the chat. Yes, I'll be doing something. Yeah, so I guess no questions. I don't see any questions, and yeah, so I believe like it's time to end the session, I guess. So thanks for joining, guys. I'll be ending the session in 5 minutes. I hope you guys enjoy, and I hope you guys practice on this and make some awesome games, so you can see how JavaScript is, how client-side programming is so easy. This is a front-end development domain, so I hope you guys experiment and pick this domain as your career maybe. So let's see how you guys can build out. I'll be sharing you this code through GitHub, and I hope you guys understood how to use GitHub yesterday. So if you would have any questions or something, you can still ask in the WhatsApp group or something. Okay, so let's end up. Thank you guys. Enjoy.